Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Andy, and I play bass in the 500.
I play guitars in the 500. So, Andy and I met, 13, 14 years old in Gibraltar, where we're originally from. I think we met in school, and I looked over at Andy's pencil case, and he had some questionable new metal bands scribbled on there, like Cold Chamber or Mudvayne. And I thought, he's probably cool. And that's how we got to know each other. Started playing in bands within a few months, and then moved over to the UK.
And here we are, 20 years later.
Don't tell them how long we've been here. How old are we? The stuff we used to listen to when we were kids were bands like, Cold Chamber, Korn, Deftones, Mudvayne, stuff like that. But in terms of the 500 influences now, I'd say Meshuggah is a very strong influence. You can hear that with the 8-string guitars and the heavy, syncopatic riffs, but also a lot more melodic elements, like perhaps Bad Omens.
Elements of North Lane, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
Certainly on this album, at least. We've introduced some more, synth-based songs and electronica. Yeah. And I think we're going to progress in that way too, to be honest. But, obviously over the years, we've diversified and explored all sorts of different, musical routes and things like that. So, and our tastes and interests have evolved as well over the years, obviously. So this is our third album, so, we're gradually finding our feet,
This is our third album. The first two albums were released on Long Branch Records. We now release this semi-independently with the support of Prime Collective in Denmark. And the album's release date is on the 28th of February. We released 4 singles up until now. We have the 5th coming in a few weeks' time. So yeah, exciting times. We're down to the last 6 weeks before album launch, so all systems go.
And how would you say that this third album is different from the previous two?
Yeah, sonically, it sounds almost like a totally different band. We sound completely different to the first 2 records. The only reason you'd probably recognise it's the 500 is because John, our vocalist, has a very distinctive voice. He has a very original and distinctive voice, so when you hear his voice, you can tell who it is. But apart from that, everything else sounds very different. It's a lot more expansive, a lot more like soundscapes. It's almost a bit more of a proggy elements to the album. Songs bleeding into each other, and almost chunks of the album are one continuous piece of music rather than 4 or 5 separate tracks. A lot less screaming, which is going to piss off a few people. It'll probably piss off a load of old fans, but we'll probably gain a load of new fans, and kind of okay with it.
I guess you're having a well-deserved sort of rest after creating the album right now, aren't you?
Well, it's quite the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, is it just a promotion, is it? Or
yeah. Just ongoing. The work doesn't stop, to be honest. If anything, there was a break from recording the album to release.
Yeah.
But as soon as we had the release date, and then we've got a schedule to adhere to for like planning promo and content and video shoots, and then behind the scenes stuff, and then thinking about the next video, and then the release date and collabs, and it's an ongoing ball of pain. But
it is. It's we make it sound like we're so hard done by, right? Yeah. It's cool it's fun being a band, I promise. Being a band is maybe 20% actually writing music and playing live shows, and then the rest of the 80% is the business side of it. It's the social. We're all social media managers, basically. We're also merch, TikTok this, YouTube that, interviews, which we love doing. But a lot of the stuff that comes along with the band, as well as anyone, is non-musically related, I guess. It's the whole administrative side of being a band. So at the moment, it's pretty full on for us. And I think it probably will be pretty full on until we finish the touring cycle 2 or 3 months after the release. So I think we'll have a break in the summer.
Wow. Yeah, it's non-stop, I guess.
Get some well-deserved suntan.
If only you can sort of hive off all of that social media stuff and just be musicians, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
It'd be great, yeah. We need to sell a lot more records, though, for us to get into that position.
I just make videos, but I don't want to do all that social media stuff either. It's laborious. It's
really is.
Because each one's different and everything.
It's the way the industry's gone. It's not just us. Everyone we speak to is exactly the same position. It's a struggle for I guess more experienced or more mature musicians that have gone through a phase where historically that wasn't a thing that you needed to consider. We grew up thinking, you would go to a studio, record an album, sign to a record label, would be rich. Obviously, that's not happened, and that's not how it works anymore.
Yeah.
But it's nice to always always learning new stuff and evolving in other aspects of the music industry too. So it is what it is.
By album number 3, and lots of music and lots of performances gone by now, especially after how long you've been together, you've got fans who follow everything you do, go to a lot of performances that you do, listen to everything that you do. How much do they figure in your mind when you're making stuff?
I'm sorry to say, but not at all. I guess, at least when I'm writing music, I'm writing music for myself. That may sound selfish, but I don't think it can be any other way. You can't create a piece of art thinking about who's going to like it and who's going to not like it, because one, it'll drive you mad, and two, what will come out, it will invariably be, you will have fudged the artistic process and created something that's not very authentic. I think I trust my own tastes. I trust what I feel is good in our music, and perhaps what's the word I'm looking for? Perhaps in a cocky way, I think if I think it's good enough, then other people will enjoy it.
Well, it is your art after all.
Yeah. I tend to agree with Mark obviously as well, but I would say or caveat that comment with the fact that over the course of 3 albums and working with producers and being in the studio and understanding what a live show should be like for us and for fans and the audience, whether subconsciously or not, certainly for me, that does come into play to some extent when I'm putting something together.
Yeah.
But the overriding sense for this album isn't about other people. It's about what we wanted to achieve rather than anybody else this time.
We know what gets a room jumping up and down and bouncing, and we obviously enjoy that when we play live. So when we write music, we write stuff that we know is going to go down well, not because we want aim to just people please, just because we want to have fun on stage.
You have released some singles already from this new album.
Yeah.
What's the reaction been so far?
It's been very positive. I think a lot of people have been surprised at our new sound. Had a few people saying, "Where's the screaming?" Because we used to have a lot of that, and we don't have much of that anymore. But it's definitely a new direction for us. But it's very encouraging. It's as much as we write music for ourselves, it's very you just get a certain sense of vindication and validation when people come up to you and tell you how much they enjoy your stuff.
It's also it seems to be appealing to the press and press outlets and stuff like that. So that's nice.
What do they know?
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, or radio. So radio picked up one of the singles already. I don't know when this is coming out, but by the time this is out, the other one will also be on the radio. So that's cool. But I think ultimately for us, it's now's the exciting time. We're like right in the middle of the release. Basically, we've got a couple more bits to put together, and then we just want to go out and play the shows and get the music out there so that people can hear it live, because that's what we're good at. I think that's what we're best at, to be honest.
So with us obviously being Festpod, festivals is our main focus. Have you got any coming up that you're looking forward to this year?
Yeah, festivals we played in the past that we've most enjoyed are Download Festivals, obviously the big one. Radar Festival and UK Tech Fest are particularly good ones for us as well, given the style of music that we play. This year we're playing Hammerdown, I think, as well.
We're playing Hammerdown in Brighton. We're doing, for the first time ever, we're doing Ride Rock Roll, which is an interesting format. It's jiu-jitsu, biking and metal in Cleethorpes. So that sounds cool. I like most of those things. So that should be an interesting weekend. We've got what else have we got lined up? Yeah, Mangata Festival, which we're going to be announced for in a couple of weeks. So that should be good. And then we're in conversation about another couple of things still. So there's a couple of things that we're waiting to hear back on. So let's see what happens with those.
We've got a UK European tour as well at some point.
So, your favourite thing that you've created, I guess, would be... I mean, that's a very vague question, but, I mean, have you got a favourite single, a favourite performance, a favourite anything that you've done? Favourite video?
I mean, this album, I think, is by far the best thing that we've created. I'm mildly concerned if we will be able to top what we've written, because we're really happy with it, very proud of it. That's from the creative side and the studio side. I guess in terms of performances, I think as a single show, Moscow in Russia a few years ago was particularly special. I think that was an absolutely insane show. We played there with Carnifex. That one's tough to beat. Obviously, Download Festival was particularly enjoyable as well. Having masses of people there watching you was, a special moment. So yeah, I'd say Download Festival, Moscow a few years ago, and our third album.
Yeah, I can't really add to that. I mean, the only thing that's current now, obviously, is the latest single, New World, that came out on Thursday, and that's the first time we've done a green screen video.
Right. Okay. Well, how was that?
Yeah, it was a really good experience. I know a local creative education facility that I've worked for in the past, or worked with, and they hooked us up with a nice green screen studio, and we worked with Ollie Duncanson, who's a mate and a very good videographer. So the result is the New World video, which is, so far the feedback's been really good, and I think I'm quite proud of that, because that's something that's different. It's the first time we've done it, so it feels fresh and new and exciting, and that's cool.
It's good to have those connections, isn't it, that can get you into that sort of thing if you've not done it before.
100%.
Always, yeah. And it's the students, like, obviously, I'm always like trying to, figure out a good deal, which sounds like I'm a hustler, but it's also, it's sort of, we're giving a little bit back to the students as well. So it was a student education facility, so we got some students on board. They helped up set up the lighting, set up the studio, helped with a bit of the pre-production, the camera work, stuff like that. And then in return, we've got a good video out of it. I'll invite them down to our Nottingham release show, things like that. So,
and they get a credit out of it. They've made a music video.
Yeah, they can put it on their CV, and it's all cross collaboration promo, right?
I think that's a great way of doing it myself. What are your highlights of making that video? What in particular did you thought, this is going great?
It's a bit of a weird one. If you're in front of a green screen, it was a little bit unnerving for us. I mean, I'm going to go on the record and say that making music videos sucks. You're basically playing along to a track of yours for about 50 or 60 times in a day. So by the time the music video day is done, you're sick of the song. You don't want to hear it again. There's a lot of bouncing around. There's a lot of moving around, and you're in a green room with nothing else in there. So it's kind of tough acting effectively in front of a green screen. The best bit is obviously when you get the first draft from the videographer and you see all the magic that he's put behind it, and you think, wow, it all comes to life then. So this is why I was jumping around like a tit a few weeks ago in that studio. So it looks good when you put it on top of this. So yeah, getting that first draft from the videographer from a green screen video was special.
And any highlights of being in the studio actually creating the music?
Definitely, yeah. We've always worked with Justin Hill, who people might know from vocalist in Sixth, but he's more of a producer these days than a vocalist. And we work really well with him. We've become very good friends with him over the years. I think this is like the fourth time that we've got into the studio with him. And he's an amazing professional. He can really bring out the best in each song and bring out the best in each of us. Some of these songs take on a completely new life when we spent a day with him in the studio. we walk out at the end of the evening thinking, wow, I had no idea the song was going to end up like that. So that's always a great experience working with Justin.
Yeah, it's almost like, like if you, and I don't play video games, but if you were a video game player and you unlock a certain level that you've been trying to hit for a while, that's how it feels like for me, because we write them at home, self-produced effectively, and then we put the songs together, got an idea of what we want to achieve with the song, and we're pleased, like, oh, this is cool, that's got a good hook, that's got a heavy bit or whatever. But now we know that by the time we've left, like Mark said, left the studio that day or the next day or whatever it is with Justin, it's just that, it's beast mode, and that's it's like the final fighter in I don't know, Mortal Kombat or something. You know what I mean? So that's cool.
All we'd ask people is go listen to us, come down to a show, because that's when you see the best of the 500. We're not a studio band, we're definitely a live band.